Welcome to Lupus Speaks Podcast, where we navigate the journey of living with lupus together. I'm your host, Shedrica Shant'e, and I'm thrilled to have you here. And I can't wait to share new stories and insights with you. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive in. Hey, Lupus warriors and friends. Welcome back to another episode of Lupus Speaks. I'm your host, Shedrica Shant'e, and today we're diving into wellness tips you've probably heard a million times, but never really tried. We're talking nutrition, getting outdoors, doing yoga, journaling. Yes, the things we often brush off because they sound too simple or like they just wouldn't work. But after 16 years of living with lupus, I can say these practices, the ones we often ignore, can make a huge difference. But first, I want to start with something that came up recently in a conversation I had with someone. So everybody who knows me or isn't new here knows that I've been celebrating my 16-year lupus anniversary. So actually, this was my therapist, and he was not familiar with lupus, and this is a new therapist. So he asked me, like, why do you celebrate having lupus? Why would you celebrate living with a chronic illness? And at first I kind of laughed because I found it very profound that someone asked me that. So let me tell you, I don't necessarily celebrate anything really ever besides my children's birthdays. And I wanted him to understand that I'm not celebrating having lupus. What I'm celebrating is my life with lupus. I'm celebrating the fact that after all the pain, the fatigue, and the struggles, that I'm still standing, and that lupus has not taken me out, because it could have at any point in time, and it hasn't. So I'm celebrating my survival. It's all about resilience. It's never letting anyone tell me how or what to celebrate, especially when there aren't many moments in my adult life where I celebrate anything. So for me, I thought of this like, well, you know what? Let me actually celebrate myself. And one of my girlfriends, she was telling me that I should do like a lupus launch party for my podcast. But I was like, I feel like that's a bit extreme and it's last minute. So let me just do something cute. So I did these cute little celebratory pictures. You may have seen them on social media. But I was like, this is my way of being able to have a form of self-care. And lupus warriors, we deserve to celebrate ourselves. And I deserve to celebrate and post it and show you guys what it looks like to be able to celebrate life. I want you guys to celebrate your strength, celebrate your progress, and your ability to show up. So I'm going to say it again. Don't let anyone tell you how or what to celebrate. I want you to celebrate you, boo. And that's part of today's topic. How we celebrate ourselves by taking care of our minds, our bodies, and spirits, even with lupus. Okay, so why do we avoid wellness tips? Most people know these things, just not even living with lupus, just having a mindfulness, a sense of mindfulness or a life in, I guess, leisure, the soft era, I guess that's what I want to say, because all of us have been tapping into that soft girl era thing. And people have been doing this for a long time, but specifically for lupus warriors, we need to get into it. These are some of the things that I think are taboo that we don't actually do, that we should be doing. And a lot of us do these things. And I would love to hear what some of you guys are using. And I would love to know what some of you guys actually do and how it works in your life. So I would love for you guys to leave a comment or DM me what you actually do after you listen to this episode. But one of the things that I think is taboo that we should actually do, if you're not already doing them, is eating clean. And that's preferably no meat. Like, I know, no meat, y'all. Getting outdoors more, which I've been doing this more. Me and my partner, we get out more. I feel like when I was a single woman, I didn't get out much. I didn't get outside and enjoy the nature. And he's like this nature boy, so he gets me outdoors, and I really appreciate that. Then practicing meditation or yoga. something. Journaling. I love journaling and writing my thoughts down. And building routines. Something I'm still struggling with. We're going to get into all of that. So I know this stuff sounds like stuff you've heard before, but the truth is we skip over these practices because they seem too basic. When you're dealing with something as intense as lupus, it's easy to think that's not enough for me, or that won't really make a difference in my life. So I'm not going to do that. And I used to feel the same way. But after trying some of these and doing it consistently, I realized they actually do work when you approach them with the proper mindset. So after 16 years with lupus, I've tried a lot of different wellness approaches to keep my body and mind balanced. As much as I used to resist it, because this is one thing I used to resist, is nutrition. Like, duh. I mean, come on. Nutrition isn't just about physical health. It's deeply spiritual too. I mean, I grew up around people in my family that always taught me the importance of eating to live. How to eat to live, not living to eat. This is something that has stuck with me that I didn't really fully embrace early on, but now it's like programmed in my mind when I'm getting ready to eat something that I'm not supposed to. Are you eating to live? My family would always talk about how food could be healing and how it's not just fuel for our bodies, but nourishment in our souls. And I didn't really fully understand the connection. Over time, especially with lupus, I realized how much truth there is to this teaching, because food is one of the most powerful tools that we can use to fight for our wellness, for our life. It's kind of biblically too. Let food be thy medicine. So that's a given that we should probably make better choices when it comes to nutrition. So one of the ways that I trick my mind into eating clean or making healthier choices is to try it by connecting my spiritual journey. I've learned, and I've tricked myself on a lot of things because I've had some bad habits. And the easiest way for me to do this is to go on a spiritual fast. So maybe it's not all the time just giving up the food, but it's just kind of creating a space for me to connect deeply with God, or just really just like stop doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing. And so for me, I'll say, well, I'm going to go on a fast and I'll stop doing it. And I feel better because I'm not doing it for me per se. I'm doing it for God. So I focus on the idea of treating my body like my temple, and that mindset allows me to choose the food that only nourish me and also cut out the bad habits that I no longer want. So it's almost like a reset button for my spirit and my body. And it makes the process of eating clean feel less like a chore, but more of an act of worship, an act of self-love, and an act of obedience to God. I hope that really helps somebody out here, because, baby, some of them things be hard to give up, and doing the spiritual fast is really one of the things that I have to do. Okay, so let's talk about getting outdoors. So I know that, first of all, most of us are allergic to the sun, because I know I am. And we also be hurting. And the last thing we want to do is go out or leave my bed. Or a lot of times, sometimes I just don't want to go by myself. Like, I just don't want to be outside by myself. But here's the thing. Being outside for even just 10 to 15 minutes, getting some fresh air, some sunlight, and being in nature, it really does have a healing effect. Like, nothing else can replicate. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go on a hike. If you're up to it, you can. More power to you, but because me climbing the mountain, I would love to. I've tried it, but it's not my regular thing. I'm just talking about something as simple as just sitting in your yard, sitting on the front porch, or taking a brief walk around your neighborhood. Even if it's like you can't go that far, just walk to your mailbox. Because some reason it clears my mind, it boosts my mood. It helps with some of the joint stiffness, which is a big deal for us lupus warriors. And I just really enjoy like just smelling the crisp air, especially around this time of the year. You just seem like I don't know, it feels so refreshing. But if you haven't tried this one, please do this. Start small, make it a small step outside for a few minutes every day, and notice how you've been feeling. You might be surprised at the differences it makes. And I would like for you guys to let me know if you actually do enjoy going outdoors for a walk. Okay, so here's another one. that, how can I say this? I would love to be more intentional about. I have done it and I do enjoy it and I do enjoy the results of it, but I do need to find more time to get into this. And that is meditation, yoga, and mindfulness. So this is one of the other ones I did roll my eyes about, especially when it came to the meditation portion of it. Like doing the yoga stretches and like positioning myself, that's not the hard part for me because that to me is like the exercise part of just like body movement. So that's cool. It's the closing your eyes and like being mindful and shutting everything out. And because my mind run like a million races in my head and trying to cut it off and like meditate on something, oh baby, it's very hard. But our minds are just as important as our bodies. So meditation and yoga are about quieting the mind, tuning into your body, and creating a sense of peace within. So I did started practicing yoga some years back. And I just needed something else to do that wasn't like actual going to the gym because I'm just not a gym girly. Again, I want to be a gym girly so bad, but I don't even know if that's just my thing. So I needed something that would help me that wasn't too strenuous. And I like stretching and breathing and I like how it works. So I don't feel like you have to be a yoga expert to start. Like there are definitely beginner friendly poses that we can do to ease some tension and promote relaxation. There are YouTube videos that will help you learn the yoga stretches. So you can just get in front of your TV, lay out a mat and just move, just kind of bend and stretch. And I don't know, it feels good to do it right before bed. I feel like I sleep better when I do some stretching and movement before bed. And as far as meditation, baby, we still working on this. I know that from lupus or just life in general, meditation helps create mental space to deal with anything. Just being able to just like clear your mind for 5 minutes, it will make a difference. I've tried it. It does work, but I'm just not consistent. All right. Now, this is my absolute favorite. Anybody who know anything about me, I love these. I love journaling. I love creating vision boards, and I absolutely adore planning. Like, I would have to get into my planning day story with you guys another time, but just to quickly give you something, I feel like lupus speaks came about from many different things, but one of the things that happened for me was journaling and listening to certain books and reading books and getting into the yoga and the meditation and the mindfulness part of everything. So I feel like mindfulness is being able to like see it outside of your mind. So this might not seem like an actual wellness tip, but it really is. So first, journaling gives me a space to process the feelings that I have been feeling. It gives me the ability to track my symptoms, even the progress of things that I've been doing. Because at first I was like almost 200 pounds and I really wanted to get that prednisone weight off of me. So I began planning and I started visualizing myself small and what that would look like. What clothes would I wear? What would I actually do? Things like that. So I would write it down. And that became very powerful to the point where I wanted to actually see it. So that's kind of like how I got into the creating the vision boards and being able to focus on the future versus like what I was living with and dealing with at the moment, the pain, the suffering, the fatigue, what I actually look like, just focusing on the future besides the doctor's appointments, just all the negative things that lupus can make you feel or think at the time that you're dealing with it. And the future goals kind of was like that act of faith because so it connected everything for me. It connected the faith that I needed to have in order for this thing to work. And as lupus warriors, we need something hopeful and motivating. So why not create a vision board? Why not take the time to actually write stuff? And I know some people really give me heck about, I just can't journal. I just can't write my thoughts down. I just can't. And I'm like, keep trying, like keep doing it. Keep on building a routine around sitting down in the morning, afternoon, at night, before bed, once a week, every Sunday, whatever. just a routine of writing your thoughts down. It operates my life in so many different ways because as a mom, like I have to micromanage so many different people and I have to remember so many different things for each person. So I have to write my thoughts down. And in order for me to stay true to myself, I need to know what I feel, what I think outside of everybody else that I'm managing. So we need to set reminders on our phone, do whatever we got to do in order to work toward this. So because this again is another form of self-care to me. It's journaling. I love to journal my prayers. I think that it is the best way for me to spend time with God because yes, I have my moments where I'm like, thank you, Lord, amen. But to really get deep and connected where he can understand where I'm feeling and how I'm feeling, I write my prayers out. And then it's amazing to go back and look at that page. It's like a diary of things that happen and you go back and you're like, answer that prayer. What a blessing that is that I didn't even know I used to feel like that and I feel like nothing like that anymore. So I don't know. I just love to be able to go back and reflect. Like I'm that type of person that will write down a thought just so I can scratch it off the list just so I can get gratification. So yeah, I love to go back and look at my prayers. Okay, y'all. So if you've been sleeping on any of these taboo wellness tips, I encourage you to give them a try. Nutrition, getting outdoors, doing yoga, meditation, journaling, doing vision boards, creating a routine. They all seem small, but together they are very impactful on how you manage lupus and importantly, how you celebrate your life. So before we wrap up, let me leave you with this. You are more than lupus. Okay? You are resilient, you are strong, and you deserve to celebrate that. So if you don't do anything today, go ahead and celebrate you. And remember, wellness is a personal journey, but I want you to find out what works for you and hold on to it. Just hold on to it. And until next time, you guys, stay empowered, be intentional, and be at peace. Thank you so much for tuning in today's episode of the Lupus Speaks podcast. I hope you found some inspiration, encouragement, and a few loopy gems to carry with you on your journey. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other lupus warriors who might need to hear this. And remember, you don't have to walk this path alone. We're building an incredible community here, so follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lupus Speaks, or check out lupusspeaks.org for more ways to connect and get involved. And until next time, peace and be intentional.